My mother wore white to my brother's wedding, so I gave her something red to remember. My mother has always believed every room exists for her grand entrance, and I don't mean that in the cute, she lights up a room kind of way. I mean it like if there was a funeral, she'd show up in sequins. When my sister got her master's degree, Mom spent the entire graduation dinner talking about how she made it all possible by giving birth to her. It started small, almost dismissible. At my 8th birthday party, she blew out my candles because the smoke was getting in her eyes. By high school, she'd turned every parent-teacher conference into a performance review of her parenting skills while my grades sat ignored on the desk. When my brother James got into med school, she threw a party for herself with a cake that said, "Proud mother of a future doctor." James wasn't even in half the photos. We learned to work around her like she was bad weather. My sister started having 2 parties. James stopped sharing good news until after it happened, and I just went quiet. We thought we had her figured out until James met Sarah, this sweet kindergarten teacher who somehow saw the best in everyone, even my mother. They dated for 7 years while Mom tried everything to break them up because Sarah wasn't good enough for her baby boy. She crashed their date nights claiming emergencies and told Sarah's parents that James was exploring his options. When they got engaged, she wore black to the announcement dinner, telling everyone she was in mourning for her son's freedom. And then she pulled her biggest stunt yet, the wedding. James had begged her to behave and bought her a beautiful navy blue dress. The morning of the ceremony, she agreed to wear it, and we all felt so relieved, but we should have known better. I was helping James with his cufflinks when I heard gasps from the corridor, and then I saw her, my mother floating down the hallway in a full white wedding dress with a train, a veil, the works. Hers was more elaborate than Sarah's simple, elegant choice. She'd bought it in secret, hidden it at her sister's house, and had been planning this moment for months. James went pale as he processed what was happening. 7 years of Sarah's patience, thousands in deposits, 200 guests waiting, and our mother had turned it into her show. She brushed past us, adjusting her veil with practiced nonchalance. "Oh, this old thing? I just thought it would be nice to feel included." That's when it clicked. Watching my brother's shoulders slump as he texted Sarah not to come out yet, I realized I could either let her ruin this day or make her the center of attention in a way she'd never forget. I grabbed the largest glass of red wine I could find from the reception setup and asked the bartender to fill it to the brim. Then I made my approach, cutting through the crowd of whispering relatives, calculating the angle like I was lining up a pool shot. She was holding court near the altar, surrounded by horrified aunts, spinning some story about how traditions are meant to be challenged. I walked up, turned to gesture at something behind her, and executed the most perfectly choreographed accident of my life. The wine hit her dress like abstract art, a massive crimson splash across the pristine white that spread fast through the fabric. The veil turned pink. The train looked like a crime scene. I dropped to my knees immediately, groveling and sobbing about my clumsiness. "Oh God, Mom, I'm so sorry. Your beautiful dress." I even produced actual tears. Drama club finally paid off. She stood there frozen, wine dripping onto the church carpet. For the first time in my life, my mother had no words. She couldn't scream without ruining her image as the gracious mother of the groom. She couldn't cry without smearing her makeup. She just stood there, the center of attention she'd craved, looking like she'd lost a fight with a vineyard. She missed the entire ceremony driving home to change, a 4-hour round trip. By the time she returned in the appropriate navy dress, Sarah and James were married, the photos were taken, and the reception was in full swing. Every single guest had seen her humiliation. The best part came later when the maid of honor slipped me her phone showing a text that said, "Oscar-worthy performance." Then a week later, a package arrived at my apartment. It was a bottle of expensive Malbec with a note reading, "For the best wedding gift we could have asked for. S&J." Mom's been showing everyone the wedding photos for months now, sighing dramatically at each one. "Look how beautiful everything was," she'll say. And I'm not in a single professional shot because of that horrible wine incident. She tells anyone who'll listen about the tragedy of missing her only son's wedding photos, conveniently leaving out why she needed to change in the first place. She wanted to be the star of her son's wedding so badly that she missed the entire thing. But at least when people look at those photos, they see exactly what matters: a happy bride and groom on their big day.